Okay, hi. Hello everyone. My name is Sanjay, and before I start, may I know how many of you want to become a filmmaker like after you finish? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Quite surprising because whenever I go to film school, I mean, uh, only one or two person like they really want to become a filmmaker. Because nowadays, like, and really glad that a lot of you really wanted to become a filmmaker. So we can keep this session very interactive as possible. Okay. Because I don't know what to share actually because I don't know what you guys need or want, so probably we keep it that way. uh, so whatever things that you want to ask, maybe we can lead the conversation from there. Probably I can start a little bit about the landscape of maybe the minority Tamil language filmmaking here. Back in back in 2000, I mean, there was already a independent filmmaking scene in Malaysia, but probably the Tamil language scene was not really prominent at the time. There was a filmmaker called Deepak, so he made a film called Chemman Chalai. It was possible because in that time, because earlier, prior to year 2000, it's very hard to make film because we have to shoot it in film, right? So after year 2000, a lot of independent filmmakers came and made the films. Here in Malaysia, the Tamil speaking people are around 2.5 million probably, but they always watch stuff from India. So probably the total box office collection for it only contributes about 1%. The rest is being contributed to India all the way because people been watching the Indian cinema for almost 100 over years. I call it when the British brought us to the rubber plantation, they introduced few stuffs. One is Tamil school, temple, todi, and Tamil film, so that the people don't go out from the estate. They feel like this is the heaven, and we can still feel that post-colonial effect until now. We cannot come out from the slavery. I would call I'll say it's slavery to watch Hollywood movies. I'm not against Hollywood movies, but then there is no space for an alternative or independent filmmaking. It was just like one way out, being feed to us for so many donkey years. So when I started my journey, when I freshly graduate 20, 21 years ago, I wanted to make a Malaysian Tamil movie, which could be accessible to the working class people, but then it doesn't reflect any resemblance of the Hollywood cinema that people been watching for 100 over years. So that was my mission actually. It's very easy to make films only for the film festivals. You make a film festival, you tailor-made for certain angle for the European audience, and then you send it. That's also, for me, it's easy. And it's much easy to make a straight mainstream movie. You just copy whatever templates from the Hollywood, you copy the trailer template, you copy everything. It's very easy to make a mainstream cinema. But then to make something that in between, like the 3 movies that you watched, it was a really painful journey because we were constantly trying to find a new grammar or new voice or new a new style. I don't know. I mean, it's a constantly. So, what I'm trying to say is like, particularly my journey is to make a movie about marginalized Indian community, but then I don't want to make it very, very hard to watch. I wanted to blend it with the genre at least, so that the layman also can watch and can understand. So that's my journey pretty much. I want to keep it very simple. That's all, and maybe we can keep it interactive if you guys have any question, and then from there we can. Yes. Yep.
Come on, guys. What was the worst aspects to filmmaking?
The worst
Aspects, yeah, to filmmaking.
The worst aspects. A lot of people can say it's the logistic part. But for me to make the people around you to believe in the project, and to the audience that this project is quite important. That's the most worst part, I guess. We still have resources, lackness in terms of resources and money, but then that is nothing when compared to when the people working around you, they don't really understand your vision. When only a couple of people understand your vision, but majority of people don't understand your vision, that's the hardest part, I guess. Yeah.
What's the most convenient way you've conveyed your vision to people?
So sorry.
The most convenient way you think you can convey your visions to people?
The most convenient way is by being persistent, because the first time you do it, a lot of people won't agree with you, they will against you, and after you keep on doing, then only people started to realize that people will start to see your vision clearly, not clearly, but probably slowly people can understand. Yeah.
What do you think is the reason why? What do you think is the reason why people are not able to see your vision?
Because people have been conditioned to consume certain types of products. It's not only film. I mean, even the way we live, the way we dress, the way we eat, everything is being conditioned. So, it's easy if we want to follow the pattern. It's easy. They say ignorance is blissful. No. So if we want to break that pattern, and then it's quite hard. But then it's worthwhile, and then we have to break the pattern anyway, probably. Yeah. If we believe in that cause, actually. Yeah.
What was it like trying to find the audience for your film?
Nowadays it's quite easier to find that, because I read somewhere saying that, let's say if you want to make a movie that really niche and very niche, probably you want to make a movie about, let's say if you want to make a movie about sport movie is already niche, and then you want to make a movie about women sport movie, and then probably you want to make it a colored person women sport movie. It's going very niche, but then they said it's easier to find the tribe now, because with the 6 billion population, you can still find an audience for whatever niche the subject is. It's very easy. It's just that the distribution part is a bit painful, because some people are controlling the distribution part. But with free channels, it's possible to find the audience. It's just that how can we monetize? That's the only question. But if you want to find the audience, there's always a way now compared to like probably 25 years ago. It's very hard to find the audience. Now it's possible. Yeah.
Do you say when you make a film, your audience, you try to make your target audience like Malaysians, or do you try to target worldwide?
It's very hard to target worldwide, actually. We need to have some base kind audience first, but the emotion is universal. You can set the story in a very rooted way, but the emotion is always universal. But we can't plan something to become universal. Then it will become like you engineer. That is how like a lot of people are doing right now. They think that when you combine these actors, this director, this music director with this distribution, you come up with this idea. It's basically algorithm based, right? So people think that probably it might work for a certain extent. It might work, but the basic honest emotion we always cannot engineer or cheat it. It has to be very natural. So I would say we keep it to certain part of geography or community, but the same story could be resonate elsewhere.
When you made Jagat like around 10 years ago, and it was met with a lot of controversy because of it being predominantly an Indian language film, what made you, even until now, still continue to make Indian predominant film because of, I guess, finesse and a lot of the other controversies around it. So what made you like not give up in continuing to write Indian-oriented films?
Yeah. It's quite a painful journey. I also thought of maybe quit sometime, but then I said to I said to myself that at least I want to finish this one phase of my life, just by making 3 movies. So I told myself that at least I need to finish this journey by making 3 movies, and then if there is some kind of people that going to continue my journey, and then I can do something else. So until now I haven't decided. It depends on how these movies are going to be perceived by the people. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Do you feel like based off like 10 years ago on how Malaysian film is and now, do you think that there's some sort of growth, or do you feel that it's still like stagnant, like the language segregation type thing?
There are new voices being emerged in the last 10 years, but it won't be enough. But if you see in terms of mainstream landscape, I can say that in Malaysia, within the mainstream landscape, we don't have visionary producers. We have the imitators. They imitate whichever things that sellable. I call them as investors, financiers. They are not producers. I don't call them as a producers. They are not visionaries. So that is why the landscape is pretty much stagnant, because we don't have radical creative inputs that are coming out, because the industry being controlled by some big players, and I can say that they are not visionaries at all. Yeah.
I caught your FINA's Q&A, I think last year, and I heard that after Jagat, it took 6 years to write Machai.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, what was the process like approaching the story of Machai, which is like a spiritual sequel to Jagat? So what was it like approaching the story?
Okay. Immediately after Jagat, I wanted to make a Malay illegal motorbike racing story. I was developing for 1.5 years, because I purposely want to break my comfort zone. There's a lot of people who are expecting Jagat 2 and Jagat 3. It will be easier to make Jagat 2 and Jagat 3 actually, but then I wanted to do something out of my comfort zone. But then I found out that I couldn't strike a balance between mainstream and also so-called my authorship. I couldn't strike a balance. And then I thought, rather than wasting people's resources, I thought I'd just keep it aside. So that's why the story is still there. And then I jump into Machai actually. Machai, I written the first draft in 5 days. 5 days time, because I was chasing for a talent, some kind of talent lab, but the deadline is just 5 days away. I used that as an excuse to just write the. Otherwise, I'll be taking forever to write the. So I wrote a very I would say a very bad script in just 5 days. But then I use it as because it's always very hard to finish one draft, But the moment you finish that draft, and then you can improve. But to finish that first draft is always a trouble. So I written a very bad script, and then only the actual story for Machai, something that I heard when I was in my childhood. I heard about this particular story about 3%, and then going into a journey, lost the stash. That was the original logline that I heard. But then I used that logline, and then because during that time, even few days ago, also we know that a Malaysian guy, Indian guy being hanged in Singapore because of the drug issue, right? I already foreseen this going to be worse in the community back in 2018. That's why I don't want to do Jagat 2, and I wanted to do a contemporary story about what is happening with the society. At the same time, I don't want the story to be neorealism because I already explored the explore neorealism in Jagat. I wanted to merge something else into. I want to do stylized realism. I was thinking maybe what will happen if I combine, because I like to watch film noir, crime movies, and I also like road movies. I like surrealism. I was thinking what will happen if I combine all these together and make it as a script. I don't know whether it's going to be good or bad, but I was thinking why don't make an attempt. So that's how My Chai story was born. Yeah.
You mentioned you couldn't balance, was it your audience and
Authorship, yeah.
yeah. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, because I found out that because we need to have a clear-cut goal to a project or to a script. Sometimes you can blend things. Sometimes you cannot blend at all. Sometimes like water and oil, it can't gel together. Some things you can gel together. Some things you can't gel together. And then I found out that I couldn't gel that because a huge studio, they wanted to fund the movie. And I understand from their point of view, the profit is quite important for them. And for me, I don't really care about the profit. I care about my voice. So when I tried to see, I couldn't breach those expectations. And I don't want the movie to become in between that doesn't satisfy. It's neither here, neither there, right? So I thought I just put a break. Maybe I don't have the maturity yet to pursue the script, probably. I just put it aside. Maybe in the future, I might find some way, probably.
In Jagat, you work with a child actor and also like adult actors. So, what's the difference in the process between directing a child and like professional adult actor?
Sometimes almost the same, I guess, because with child actors, sometimes with child actors, they need the reason quite because recently my son, he was acting in my friend's documentary. So my friend was telling me that he been asking questions. He said, I don't understand, please make me understand. So with child, they always wanted to understand first so that they can digest, they can imagine, and then they can deliver. With adults, they can pretend that they can understand. That's the problem with adults. So sometimes it's easier to work with child. And particularly for Jagat, the child, he was like clay. He don't ask question. But he can absorb well. Sometimes I need to mold him, So sometimes I need to say that, okay, I'll be counting beside him and saying that 1, 2, 3, and then you have to look up. So sometimes I need to do that stuff to make him to act. Sometimes, yeah, I think that's the. To answer your question, yes. Sometimes working with child can be really easier, and sometimes can be very hard because sometimes he'll be just disappear from the set, the boy, and then we'll be waiting for 1 hour plus, and then he'll come back, and then only we continue. So sometimes like that, but I understand that sometimes when we work with child, we need to adapt their working style. We cannot be demanding very much. So sometimes I let go. I follow his rhythm, and then I still remember we shot 40 takes for the boy for one particular scene. Not because I want some kind of perfection, and also I given some space for him also. Some shots he can really do it in one or sometimes much more better than the adult actors because he comes from the innocence. Whereby the adult actors, they are trying to imitate some feels that probably they don't believe in the feel at all. So it's pros and cons. Yeah.
I think you touched a bit on the sense of control as a director. How would you say you find a balance between wanting that sense of control and just letting things play on its own?
Yeah. I always believe that in filmmaking, right, it's always two ways on how we can approach. There should be a control, and there should be surrender. Particularly when we work with blues and machai, I always tell my ADs, I tell them that before we go into the shoot, we have all the time luxury to go into very detail. We can control it, but in the set, it's very hard to control because we are playing with a very limited budget. People are vulnerable. You can't. The weather is unpredictable. Something might happen in the set, but it's not under our control. But the things that we can control is the pre and the post we can control. During the shoot, usually I personally surrender. I look out for some kind of magic or miracles that are going to happen in the shoot. So whatever we do in the beginning, it will help to reduce that. Maybe David also can a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when I think because like the two films that we have made, like they have a certain budget, and depending on what kind of budget you have, like you can do some kind of thing and you cannot do some kind of thing. Like big budgets allow you to do like a lot, like invest a lot of time in preparing a scene, but you cannot just do like Terence Malick, like suddenly turn around because there's a butterfly and chase the butterfly.
Yeah.
And keep the people waiting because there are not 10 people waiting, there are like 300 people waiting. So it's immense amount of money for butterfly shot. Maybe you don't put it anywhere because it's not on the script. But in small film, when you have less budget and less people, you have the luxury of doing this, capture the magic of the moment, or like to see things through and divert your attention, or even like the story, like to kind of like reconfigure it as you find something interesting. But this is at the same time it's a luxury that you cannot have in a big production because you have like from Netflix like reading your neck 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think for new directors especially, it's hard for us sometimes to come to terms that we want to let go of the control. I think it's kind of like an ego thing as well for us. That, like sometimes it's hard for us to want to let go of the control and just surrender, like you said. So what advice would you give us? How do we really let go and just let things play out?
I think you can have that ability to let go when you really confident enough that you've done your work. When you think that you have done the work, like for a certain extent, they're really happy and satisfied, and then you will have the ability to let go. When we don't really do the work 100%, not say 100%, at least for certain maximum level, and then when you let go, you will have that kind of fear that something might go wrong. Yeah.
Which film did you enjoy the most working on, and for what reasons?
Okay. These three films?
Yeah.
I would say.
Or any you like to say.
Yeah. I only done 3 films, so I keep it. Yeah. So I can say Machai actually, Machai, because for Jagat, it was way. I had a different kind of tension, but with blues. With blues, we have a lot of setups actually, because the story is telling 6 years period of time. So we have a lot of locations, we have a lot of setups, and also that was my first experience to work in a little bit bigger comfort zone of mine, because in Jagat the crew was much more smaller, and I was from a TV industry. I never done a film before. I never worked in a bigger setup film before. I never had that chance. So I created that opportunity to make film. So with blues, particularly when working with David also, it's kind of first time working together with the blues. So personally myself, this is the first time for me working in a bigger. I never worked in a commercial also. In my life, I never had a bigger proper monitor. I've been indie all the way, so it was a bit overwhelming for me to find the rhythm myself. But I must thank David, because David and his team are super good. I mean, they are really super indie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, they are super fast. I mean, sometimes there will be a delay from our side in terms of certain department, but they will be always be ready. So, in a way that they made me comfortable. But with Machai, we already found a rhythm together, I guess. Because whichever people, whoever people worked in blues, we carried them to Machai, and then in Machai we found a rhythm, better rhythm. And I used to tell at one point, I still remember David, he was shooting, and I was looking at the monitor. And then I feel that, okay, it will be good if there could be a slightly more zoom in. And then, but I can't express it, I can't say it because we are recording the sound also. But then immediately, as though David heard me, it's already started to zoom in. So sometimes I always tell, when you have a good team, it's beyond the words. Even with my actors also, they've been traveling with me for so long. If I see their eyes also, I know already whether they're comfortable or not, whether they achieve their certain level or they are not happy. From their eyes, I can understand. It's beyond the words actually. So I always believe in that energy. Yeah. So to answer your question, with Machai, we kind of have that energy together, and we quite have a fun compared to blues, I guess, with Machai. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was the same. Like I think in the shooting which I was more comfortable working because we already have like a language that we share.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of like know very clearly where are we going. You know, so in a film like once you know like the destination, you know like clearly, like the ride it can go like as wild as you want. You know, because you know exactly what you want to achieve. And, yeah, like working with the same people. You know, like. Of course, like clean up the team, and everybody kind of like know, you know, each other quirks. I mean, all professionals, you know, at the end, like you develop kind of like I don't know if a style, but a way of working. So we all like from the top to the bottom, you know, like we know our style, and it was quite easy to be honest, and quite rewarding, you know, like seeing that this is what we want to do and manage to get it.
Yeah. 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 I think what David said is true. I mean, when you know the end destination, you can maneuver around with the journey. Because as for film, right, it's not about writing a short story or painting or poetry, whereby you have all kind of luxury to to tear the paper and then you rewrite again and again. But with cinema, we are playing around with the limited space and time. So when we have the clarity that, not only clarity in terms of story, the clarity in terms of the theme, the clarity in terms of each scenes, the clarity in terms of each shots maybe, the clarity in terms of which emotion that the actor is going to bring. So when we have that clarity, we can play around in between, because we know that how far it can go wrong. It won't go wrong badly because we know already this is the direction. So it's quite important thing that David mentioned. Yeah.
I've got two questions.
Yeah.
Number one, which part of being a director do you enjoy the most? Number two is, not everybody here can be directors.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to them if they want to still be involved in filmmaking?
Yeah. The most part I really enjoy by being a director, I think being a director is like fixing a big jigsaw puzzle together, because we know some kind of vision, but then you have to fix it, and then in order to complete the vision. So that part I really like. Second part is to collaborate, because sometimes we have certain kind of vision, but then when you collaborate with the right people will enhance that vision. So it's really rewarding when you see the vision that you develop in your mind, but getting another shape with your collaborators. That one I really like it, and I agree with you. Like not everyone can become a director, and maybe this is a it may sound egoistic statement, but I would say you have to born to become a director. It has to be written in the head, people say. It has to be in the destiny. Because I've seen a lot of people, even way more talented people, but they cannot sustain to become a director. Because in Eastern philosophy, we call it as karma. You do a duty. The duty is written in the head, saying that you have to become a visual storyteller, probably. So I believe in that, because I've seen a lot of people that trying to become a director, but they cannot, because to be a director, especially with today's world, I don't think so. Become a director is a very sweet journey. It's a very bittersweet journey. So if you can decide earlier on, I mean, it's very hard to decide, honestly. Sometimes you have to do things, and then only you can discover, saying that, okay, I'm meant for this, I'm not meant for this. But the earlier you can decide, it's better for you, and then you can precisely focus your energy into do things that you really like. Yeah. So, otherwise you'll be wasting your youth. Like it's very precious.
How do we know somebody's a good director? What qualities are we supposed to look at?
A good director.
Yeah. Like how do I differentiate between a good director and somebody who's not born a director?
Okay. This is my opinion. A good director is someone who dedicate. Okay, let's say per day we have 100,000 thoughts per day. Let's say, right? You dedicate 80,000 of thoughts to that particular project you're thinking. And then for me, that's one of the indication, because you're putting because thoughts become words become action become destiny. So it's all, everything starts from the thoughts. I used to remember once, I don't want to make film at all. I say I want to give up. I don't want to make film, because I said maybe I'll save some money, and then in the future I'll do my movie the way I wanted. And then I was say that it's okay if I don't make films. I still think and walk and eat, or even bathing time also, I think like a director. So not necessarily I need to make a film to become a director. And then only my wife, she told me that, no, I mean, you have to match these two. You have the thoughts, but you have to do it in action. Then only you become a proper director. Then only I started to think that, okay, then it makes sense, and then only I started to make Jagat. Otherwise, I thought I don't want to make movies, and I just want to watch. Even to watch movie also is a big privilege. Sometimes I tell my friends, a lot of people that they said, I don't have the luxury to become a director. I need to work 8 to 5. I say it's okay, it's fine. I mean, as long as you can watch a good film, appreciate a good film, you read, you have a time to read, you time to watch a movie also. You're playing a part as a creator. Not necessarily that we are forcing ourselves and then torturing ourselves. Don't torture yourself to become a director, I would say. Go with the flow. If the flow is, don't against the current. If you go with the current, then it's meant to you. If you're against the current, it's not meant to you.
Behold. Interrupted me, I forgot.
I'm so sorry, bro.
What are you trying to show through your films as a director?
I don't want to show anything, actually. See, okay, I just want to share something. back in the past, I used to chase the mastery. I always want to perfect the things, you know. And then recently, a few months ago, I learned that there's no such thing as chasing the mastery. Mastery is already inside us. We are already a master inside. We are already a master. Mastery is we are closing the gap between what we already have by doing things. Okay, can you guys understand? It's not something that we are chasing. The things is already there, but we give the space to understand the master inside, because it's always clouded. We always have thoughts, we always have others' opinion, others' perspective that being thrown into us. When we clear that perspective and we can see ourselves clearly, and the mastery is a very easy process, I understand. The rest is just bridging the process. So what was your question again?
What are you trying to show through your...
Yes, okay. I don't want to show anything, because I want to understand myself. Making film is about self-discovery. For me, I'm trying to understand myself, because when I make Jagat, right, Jagat was meant to be a feel-good comedy movie. Meant to be a feel-good comedy movie, because I remember my childhood, because I just remember my childhood and I want to make it as a comedy movie. Yeah. And then only I realized, and then I started to understand the socio-politics behind it, and then the movie takes into something else. I'm not sure whether I made a good movie or not, but then that Jagat movie made me to understand about my childhood, on which a lot of people don't have that luxury to understand the childhood at all, because most of the trauma starts from our childhood. So it's kind of healing process for me. So to answer your question, I'm not trying to show anything. I'm trying to understand myself. When I understand myself, probably I can create something beautiful. When I understand myself, and then I share it to the world. Yeah.
This might be a very personal question, but what did you discover about yourself, about your childhood through Jagat?
Through Jagat, what I discovered. Probably I've broken the generational trauma and generational slavery. The things that my parents don't have luxuries. After Jagat, I realized that I become a totally different person, as though I'm not a person in the family anymore. But of course, I love them. But then I've got the perspective that I wouldn't have it if I didn't make the film. Yes.
May I know your, because like I saw the Machai trailer and Jagat, there's a lot of slangs and terms which is very accurate to the community and all. So may I know what was the research process while writing both the films?
Because I grew up with I had those kind of friends in my life. I grew up in a very small town, and my friends used to be from all walks of life. And I used to drink beer session for 2 days straight in one Chinese shop. I do have that experience, sleeping there, and then the next day wash the face and then drinking again. I do have some experience. So as for now, all my movies are somehow based on my real life experience and the people that I've met in my life, because that's the closest thing that I can honestly, because I can't imitate something that I don't know. I can get inspired, I can do the other stuff, but then it has to have, even a great science fiction also, it has the truth. It's not completely science fiction per se. They have some kind of philosophy, or they were inspired by some Holocaust or some incident, and then they're trying to tell the story through the lens of science fiction. So even I always believe that there is a truth in every fiction. Non-fiction is not fully non-fiction at all.
I have a question. Okay, so from your first film to the second film, there is like a span of 10 years, right?
10 years, yes.
How was your experience after like having your opera prima, like your first debut film, like has like a very well received in the industry, you know, like usually the second film is the hardest.
Yeah.
Like how was your experience going through the industry with like a prodigy child?
Yeah.
Section of the independent industry.
Yeah. I was trying to run away from that pressure actually, because a lot of people been telling me, why don't we continue Jagat 2 and Jagat 3. So but then I purposely want to break that break that expectation or image by doing something totally contrast, because Blues was our second movie right after Jagat. So Blues is totally contrast of, it's a romantic drama and it's talk about, it's a bit satirical in some ways, and Jagat is totally different. So probably I was ready to fail, probably. Yeah, probably I already embraced the idea that it's okay if we fail. Maybe yeah. I even used to tell my juniors, I say, don't try to make a perfect short film. There is no perfect short film at all, because ended up you will be trying to impress the juries, or you trying to imitate the past winners. I'm telling because I've been a jury for BMW shorties also for 2 years. We can see the pattern, people are trying to imitate the past winners, or trying to become a super pseudo intellectual, trying to say something extra things to the world. So I always trying to say that it's okay if we fail, it's fine. At least we try something original, or at least when we fall also we learn something, rather than we win and then but we don't learn anything. Yeah, that was my probably guiding principles, to be ready to fail, probably. Yeah.
And what about like your first film? How you managed to pass like from being one of them to have your first, to say action in your first film?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
From being a film student
Yeah.
to start.
Oh, okay.
First
Yes.
feature film?
Because my journey was before I made my Jagat, there was a 10 years in between also, from a film student to become a director, and I was in the TV industry. So the TV industry given me a lot of space to become disciplined, because TV you have a tight deadline, and I realized that my juniors immediately, whoever not in the TV industry, they don't have that much of discipline that I can see, very playful, because they don't have that. TV industry can be very toxic, can be very depressing, but then I learned discipline from TV industry, and how to manage some kind of crisis management, because we always have crisis when you trying to chase the deadline. So I learned from there, and I made very horrible short films in between, 6 short films. So I make sure that by making a horrible short films, I'll be ready to make at least a good movie. If I try to make a perfect short film, I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe yeah. So I already done a lot of mistakes in between before I make my first movie. So I was quite precise on exactly what shot I want, how many seconds that I want to cut. So I already have some kind of precision, because I already prepared for that journey actually. But no need to waste my you guys time like how I did, because during my time the resources was very limited. Nowadays, with a click of button, you have all the information around the world with you, so you can really go very fast journey. No need to waste time like me actually. Yeah.
How do you avoid over stereotypical representation of a certain community? Like how to feel real, but at the same time you still resonate without being too stereotypical.
Okay. Maybe there's two ways to answer it. The first one is we stick with the truth. If we create something that we never seen before, and then we will do something that totally not going to be believable. If we seen certain degree of truth in it, even though we did some kind of stereotypes also, there will be part of people who are going to agree with you saying that it's true, I've seen the similar things too. So it's not a stereotype. I mean, secondly, probably maybe with balance. If we don't show, if you show certain community or certain gender in one phase, maybe you can balance. I don't know. I'm not sure whether balance is a correct word, but just to show that you're not going all around to stereotype certain. But sometimes it's okay if the story demands so. For example, Machai. In Machai, everyone is a bad guy. Not a bad guy, but everyone is grey. It's a Nova world, so we cannot trying to be very conscious about. Sometimes we just follow the genre. Sometimes, because the genre itself it has its own truth. Because it's grey. It's not. We are not showing white or black. It's grey all the way. Everyone is grey, so it's fine for me.
Oh yeah, if you can comment a bit on how you work during the pre-production, for example, like you record
Oh yeah.
you
Right.
see the film.
Yeah. Can.
Interesting way
Yeah.
of working.
Yes. So what we did with Blues and Machai, we did rehearsal for I think 2 months plus, and usually my people in the industry, they don't rehearse full scenes because some actors they think their time is so precious, they don't come for full rehearsal. They say, okay, I only come for certain key scenes, and then we go from it. I don't quite agree with it, because here when they say key scenes, the scenes which have the higher emotions, for them that's the key scenes. But in my opinion, all the scenes are important because it's going to accumulate to a bigger emotions. Sometimes the key scenes are very easier to be done, but some scenes whereby you don't have emotions at all, that's the most crucial part on how you can convey the emotions without being like showing the emotions. So that is why we thought it's important to have to rehearse all the scenes. So I call up my actors. We are lucky enough because all my actors are really committed. They said, okay, I'll be with you for 2 months, and then we rehearse every single scenes, and then we edit it, and we make it as a movie itself. So we have a rehearsal movie. So my actors, they already know already. Okay, this is the things, and I told my actors during the set, don't waste my time asking why we are doing this. What is the reason behind it? Everything should be you should get the answer. If you want to ask something, it has to be something that you are going to propose something that totally out of the box. Probably say, okay, during this set, with this actual set, I got this idea. What if we do something that totally against, it's not in the script? Then maybe we can consider about it if it's really good. Other than that, the actors have no room to discuss about it because we are chasing time. So that is why we do the entire rehearsal, and then I edit it as a movie. And my actors, they know exactly what is going to happen. Because some directors, I'm not going to comment about this. Maybe there's some magic behind it. Some directors, they don't tell exactly what is going to happen in the script. With me, my actors know exactly what is going to happen until then. Why? Because we don't really have real good actors who can imagine. If we have an actor who can imagine and give something out of the box, we can keep it as a secret. But as for my actors, they need help for them to imagine. So I need to feed in the imagination. Probably a good actors, probably they can still work without knowing the full story. They might give some kind of magic. So I'm not sure about it. This is my way. Like I tell everything to my actors. They know exactly what is going to happen from right to the start to the end. Yeah.
finding actors from the beginning during like probably your auditions and stuff, what do you tell them in the auditions, or like how would you like prepare your actors in doing certain roles, or like what do you ask for them when it comes from the audition process?
Okay. Since we don't have, as I said, we do have a good actors, but not real good actors. So usually what I do, I try to borrow from the real life. When we do the audition, we try to go for people who have at least a similar characters or similar situation in their life, so it will be easier for them to imagine and for us to get things done. Even for Jagat, I have to go for close-ups all the way because I know they are not real good actors because they are non-actors, but their face itself can tell hundred of stories, the working class face. Because in Malaysia, before I started to make films, all the actors that you see in the mainstream cinema, they have fair skin, but 97% of the Indians here, they have a darker complexion like me. But I've never seen my skin representation in the mainstream cinema. It's very hard to see, and I purposely wanted to break it, and then that is why I went for non-actors, and with the non-actors face itself, it's going to tell the story without them going to act. So to answer your question, for the audition, I'll try to dig up to see whether they have the similarity, and then we keep it as a priority. Actually, not necessarily it has to be like that, but we keep it as a priority.
And where do you find these non-actors?
For Jagat, most of them are my friends because one of the guy, my DP, he acted as one of the character, and another guy, he was a rock star. I used to do a music video with him. I cast him, and another guy who was my editor. 1 or 2%, they have done 1-2 small roles in the short films. So most of the people from Jagat within my close circle, and I did audition for 2 or 3 people only. But for Blues and Machai, we did a very extensive casting session, which around 5 to 6 months, I guess, for Blues. For Machai, it was 3 months. For Blues, I handled myself because I couldn't trust another person to do the casting session, because it's always they follow the industry standard. Whenever you ask, even for the location also, I make sure I'll be there, because when you ask the industry people, they always come up with a list of photos that being shared to others. The same pictures or the same casting will be there every time. So certain department, I need to be there because I need to go for depth. That is why we took like 5 months, crazy 5 months to do the casting alone. Yeah, it took up my whole energy to do the casting alone. Yeah.
Have you directed any non-actors that have not been like involved in the film, like any film before? So they have like no clue anything.
Yeah.
How do you like direct that?
Even the boy who acted in Jagat, he has no clue at all. And some of the character used to be my security, my condo security guard. And I say, come. And then at one point, we were trying to kidnap a guy actually. There's a drunk guy behind my office. He always get drunk and then he'll be roaming around. So I told him, okay, why don't we kidnap him and then we just bring him to the set for Jagat. And then we were searching, but we couldn't find him.
But how do you direct them to get the emotion you want? Let's say they're a main character.
Yeah.
How do you get the emotion you want? Try to bring that out.
For Jagat, it's a bit weird. When I was watching Jagat again, and I told my juniors, I was saying that Jagat was a little bit weird in some ways, but that weirdness created some kind of aesthetics. Because I know they can't act, so I just tell them to give a long stare. You just look here and then just give a long stare. that's enough for me. So I edit the long stares, and then I intercut with the landscape. So when I watch it again, then only I realized that I didn't realize this when I was doing that back then. I was following my impulse, but now only I realized that it kind of aesthetics in some way. But because I was trying to save the film, more than trying to make it perfect. For Jagat, I was trying to save the film, so I need to follow my impulse. So yes, I just say to them, just give a long stare, and then I just intercut. Sometimes I do bring the emotion. I ask them stories. The boy have to cry in certain scene when the uncle died. So I asked them, do you have uncle that like, and I try to create to bring up his memory, but the boy, he can't cry at all. He don't have emotion at all. So he's a very different case. But I don't know. We somehow or other we managed to make it happen. I can't remember.
The mistakes that you've made as a director, whether in pre-production, production, or post-production, that you would like to pass on to other directors?
The mistakes.
Yeah.
The mistakes.
To repeat.
To avoid pre-production.
Sometimes it's good also to repeat.
I can't remember because a lot actually, so I exactly couldn't pinpoint which one. Let me try to think, maybe one or two. I can't think. Maybe I'll process it. Maybe let's see coming up.
When directing non-professional actors, when you want to coax a certain emotion out of them, how do you draw the line, like, to be ethical?
Yeah, understand.
How do you find that line?
Because when we converse with them, when we are sensitive enough from their facial expression and the body language, you know already they are not comfortable, and then I'll immediately stop there. So I won't go further after that, because I wanted to quote a director that I really admire so much, Krzysztof Kieslowski. Have you guys heard of him? Krzysztof Kieslowski. If you go and watch Decalogue, please go and watch Decalogue. Decalogue is 10. It was meant to be a 10 hours movie, but then he couldn't find a cinema, and then he broke it into 10 episodes. And Stanley Kubrick said that it was one of the best TV series ever done in the world. You guys should watch Decalogue, because if you see, Poland is a very uninteresting location, because Hitler already bombed the historical buildings, and the buildings is not really nice. But if you see the framings, I was surprised how he can frame such an uninteresting place into a very interesting. Here in Malaysia, we have a lot of interesting landscape, but with the landscape that not so interesting. I mean the city, of course, the outer city is very beautiful. The reason why I'm quoting Kieslowski, because before Kieslowski became a director, he was used to do lots of documentary about people. And when he interviewed people, he found out that people always cannot go beyond certain emotion. How far you close also, they won't open up until, open up to the fullest. They will open up for certain extent. That is why he started to become a non-fiction filmmaker, because he wanted to explore the depth of the emotion, human emotion. So he explored the human emotions to the max through his movies. So I'm just quoting him like it's very hard. People are not going to be open fully. Probably if they are drunk, maybe yes, but people are not going to be open fully. But a good director, we can sense that from the body language. We can sense, okay, this is the limit. We can sense it. Yeah.
As the ethics officer, I want to emphasize that you're not allowed to get them drunk so you can
Yeah, my experience with like working in Malaysia compared with, for example, like working in Spain or France, and the actors that they have like usually much more training, you know, in school. When they have the training, you know, like a method that they can follow, they they have this way of working in which they want to put themselves in a risky situation, you know, in which the emotions they are going to go about by themselves. You know, they are not going to be in control. So an European actor, you know, like if need to be slapped, it's like hit me, you know, hit me. Maybe I want to keep all my teeth, but like beyond that, you know, hit me, because they know, of course, like if you're going to be hit, you know, like
Yeah.
the reptilian brain is going to go wild, and you are going to behave much more like realistic, much more animal, you know, than if it's fake. And but like in most of Asia, as there is no like a standard training, you know, and the people don't, maybe they have hear about this, but they haven't experienced, you know, in rehearsals again and again and again. They pretend, you know, like I always say, like in Malaysia we have like
Yeah.
pretenders.
Yeah.
We don't have actors. We have
Yeah,
pretenders.
yeah,
We
yeah.
tell somebody to go there and open the door, and they pretend to walk and they pretend to open
Yeah,
the door.
yeah.
But they don't do it like as if they were just doing it. It's very hard. You have
Yeah.
to unlearn.
Exactly.
You know, they have to unlearn to do things. And like for example, when I shoot in the Philippines with Spanish and Filipinos, the Filipinos were terrified of the Spanish actor, because he's like they like in every situation there was like a heat, emotional, high emotion. The actors they got scared, thinking that it is for real, and he's like, I mean, it is for real, but it's a scene, right? You know, so it's like, but you hit the thing,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, like my hand hurts, but like I did it, you know, like to make it real, and it took like quite a long time, you know, for
Yeah.
people like to like the Spanish actor was like hit me, yeah, like push me
Yeah.
back, like for real, like make me feel that you don't want me close
Yeah.
to you, you know, like I don't want to be pretending, I want to
Yeah.
have you like helping me to this, and yeah, this part is hard to achieve when
Yeah.
you don't have a like either like a lot of confidence with your actors, you know, like months of being close, and or training, you know, because like by training, like you learn
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, but like with non-actors, usually, yeah, like certain things they are going to be very hard unless you have like a long time to meet people. I feel
Yep.
like most of the directors, I work with quite a lot of directors, and the best directors, in my opinion, they're like the people that is more empathic. You know, like empathy is the main thing. You know, like it's people that you want to be with them, that you really like, not enjoy. You know, it's like you feel like it's profitable emotionally be around them, and they can really, you know, it's like I really need this, and it's like, okay, you want me to jump there and maybe I break my head, and the people do it, you know, because they feel the emotion of the director, and they can connect, you know. And I see a lot of directors, for example, like in documentary, that they're like making an interview and they start crying, like hearing the story, or they are telling a story, you know, like a normal story of how they were doing something, and suddenly like the emotion is like pouring there, like I start like crying because they are talking about something about their fathers, you know, and they are just like working. So this ability, you know, to connect is when the people will cross the line, but if not, because it's hard, right? Because
Yeah.
it's hard to do the things for real when there is a camera in front. Is how it is.
Yeah. I just want to add on to what David said. I had a friend who worked as an assistant director in India. So he was working with the one big actor. Then he was mentioning that the actor was walking, and then suddenly the actor wanted to fall down, and then he helped him, and then the actor said it's okay. Then when he realized that he was rehearsing to really fall down, so he thought that the actor is really going to fall down, and then he realized then after the actor is trying to do it for second time. Then when he said that, wow, it was so real that he almost wanted to fall down. So it's true. I mean, one of the reasons why I don't do TV series in Malaysia, and also I avoid doing Malay movies because the actors are pretenders. Most of the actors are pretenders because they don't want to spend time on rehearsal, but then they think they are good actors. It is very hard when you think that you're good but you're not. It's very hard to. It's easier to work with people who don't know things but they're ready to learn, but people who think they already know stuff. So it's very hard. So that is why I totally avoid, because I was attending a talk show and then a seminar, I guess. Bong Joon-ho's Memories of Murder DP was there, and he was saying that they asked him which is most three important things. So he said first, the script and director's vision. Second is actor. The third is how we tell the story through camera. So the actors are bridge between the techniques and the story. So the actors is equally important to the script and the director's vision, because they are going to carry the entire soul in front of camera. That is why we respect our actors so much, because they are very vulnerable people. We at least, okay, we are sitting behind the camera, we are fine, but they are exposed vulnerably in front of camera. It's not easy, because I was trying, I did act in one or two smaller roles in my friend's series. I just want to understand how to be in their shoe, and then I know already it's not easy to become an actor actually.
We haven't talked about music.
Yeah.
Well, how do you see music? What are the choices you made? Yeah.
Mm.
How important is music?
How important is music? For me in the future, maybe I'll do something that maybe even without music also. I'm open to it also. But at the same time, I like music. One of the comments that we hear from Jagat was the music was too loud. Music was too loud because how I approached Kamal Sabran back then, because we purposely don't want to mimic the music from the South Indian movies. South Indian movies they are quite unique in some ways because they use world music into their movies. Suddenly you will listen to Irish harp. Suddenly there will be mandolin. Suddenly there will be gamelan. Suddenly it's crazy because they don't have harmony. Music in Indian cinema is not following the harmony. It's always fighting each other. I just want to quote something that Uwe said to me. Abang Uwe is a director that I admire. He mentioned to me that once he liked jazz music very much, and then he also liked a director, I forgot his name. So there was an announcement saying that this director and the great jazz musician going to collaborate for a particular movie. But then the project didn't kick off, it seems. And then Abang Wei said that he met the particular jazz musician after so many years. He asked why it doesn't happen. Because two people are too strong. Because some people have some element need to comprehend each other. It's not, it will be fighting together. So that is something that I learned about how we handle music. As for Jagat, we wanted to something that never heard before in any, probably in Malaysian landscape or even in Indian cinema. That is why I went for Kamal Sabran's music choice. And with Machai and Blues, I wanted to maintain the electric guitar aesthetics. But that's what I told Niroshan. I saying that with me and Niroshan, the entire music taste was mine for blues and Machai. I chose the templates, but Niro make it much more crazier. So he said the taste is yours, but I amplify the taste. So that is how I worked with Niro. And with Kamal Sabran, Kamal said, I'm not good in composing for movies because he does experimental stuff. And then I said, it's okay, I'm not good in making movies also. So let's try to do something. And then we try to, with Kamal is quite, he composed for almost all the scenes. And then he said, I given my best, so you choose whichever scene that you want to play around. So sometimes what I do, if Kamal composed for this scene, and then I try to drag and try to different scene. So I play around with that, and then Kamal said, okay, it's fine, it's workable. And then how it's we work together with Kamal actually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But actually, even like during the conception of
Yeah.
the films, like many times references and stuff, like we talk about music.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. Like on the aesthetic of the music, it's like, okay, we want to do this, but in film.
Yeah.
So since the very beginning,
Yeah.
I think from both Machai and
Yes, yes.
like, the music was like at the same time that interchanging like pictures for references,
Yeah.
and looks, like even talking like how the film is going to be, like many times feels
Yeah.
like quite
Yeah.
easy to work.
Yeah,
to
I
make.
think more than the blueprint, the music works well to convey the idea, the tone of the movie, because we shared the music with all the departments, and then everyone immediately click, okay, this is the kind of movie that we are going to make. This is kind of rhythm, the mood, the taste is going to be, and we even play the music, that particular music, during the set also. At one point, my crew used to joke, said, when we play the music, are we going to shoot now? So the music is like a key, you know. So yeah, the music was quite important for everyone. For everyone's like almost all the department, because I shared the playlist on my Spotify, and then I give it to everyone, and then everyone was listening like 2 weeks before we start to roll. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.